Let's talk about what's probably the most important concept in all of Plato's thought: form. It's a simple word, one we use every day, but of course here it has a very technical meaning. So, what is a Platonic form? One pretty simple way of thinking about forms is to begin by thinking about their opposite: tangible things. The physical, concrete things we bump up against and interact with every day. This is what I mean. Take two of the same thing. Two chairs, for example. Here's one. Here's another. As chairs, we can say they're both the same. But they're also different, right? Even if they look identical, they're two different things, sitting at two different places after all. Next, think about the fact that these chairs are both different and the same. Different and same are logical opposites. So how is it that these two chairs can be both? Answering this question actually brings us closer to understanding what a Platonic form is. Let's start with how they're the same. Even though there are all sorts of chairs out there, a high chair, a beanbag chair, a desk chair, a rocking chair, a throne, all of them are the same to the extent that they share something in their function or design, their structure. And it's this: at a minimum, all chairs are made so that they're suitable for sitting in. So it's this more abstract sense of function or design that makes all chairs the same. And that's the answer to our question. This more abstract sameness is the very Platonic form of chair. We might say chairness. But of course, any two chairs are also really different. This brown one is made out of wicker, that blue one is made out of canvas, the white one over there is plastic. So what makes them different? Their physical qualities. Even two identical chairs, say from a matched dining set, are still different in the sense that they are literally made of different pieces of wood, different nails or screws or pieces of padding and fabric. They obviously sit in different places in your dining room. So all chairs are different in terms of their physical or material dimensions, but they're the same in terms of their form, which is the very idea of chair, the intelligible content or intelligible meaning of chairness. And that's a very good way of speaking of forms, to say they are the intelligible content that we grasp with our minds, as opposed to the physical, tangible content that we can see and touch. So to summarize, a Platonic form is what is the same across all the examples of any category of things. It is quite literally the reason why all members of a class of things, such as chairs, actually belong to that group. Where would we be without our bodily senses? Our eyes, our ears, our hands, our noses, and all the rest. I think most of us would agree we'd be in a very bad way. Our senses give us so much of the information we need every second of every day to navigate through this world. Try getting to work or to the store with your eyes closed and your ears plugged. Not going to happen. But our senses not only make it possible for us to stay alive and do all the things we need to get done in this world, they also make it possible for us actually to enjoy life. Think ice cream, cheeseburgers, wine, great music, roller coasters, a hot shower. The list goes on and on. While I don't think we should deny their importance, Plato challenges us to think a little differently about our senses and sense experience. Is knowledge of something really the same as sensing it with our senses? One major issue he has is with the claim that knowledge is perception. and specifically sense perception. The main problem here is the fact that the senses themselves are incapable of producing actual judgments. To understand this, it's helpful to back up and think about what the senses actually do accomplish. Each of our 5 bodily senses, sight, hearing, taste, touch, smell, each grasps the qualities of things in some particular and limited way. Sight grasps light and the colors of things. Hearing grasps sounds. Touch grasps shapes, textures, and temperatures. Taste grasps the varieties of flavor, and the sense of smell grasps scents or odors. And that's it. The senses themselves don't grasp anything beyond these specific dimensions of the world around us. Judgment or thought, however, is something that clearly goes beyond sense perception. The content of our minds includes all sorts of universal concepts like green, fast, car, justice, charity, humanity, number, grammar, syntax, punctuation, time, space, history. The list is endless. Some of these, like green or fast, might seem more closely related to sense experience. I might see a fast green car driving down the freeway, for example. But others, like charity and justice or history, certainly are not things we literally see in that way. Plato's conviction is that if anything is to be objectively true about things in the world, and not simply a matter of your or my personal perceptions that may vary from person to person and time to time, then these things must be more than what we perceive about them with the senses. The truth about things has to come from something deeper than what we each grasp with our senses. That truth has to tap into a dimension of reality that's beyond the sensible surface reality that we see, hear, taste, touch, and smell. So that deeper reality must be something intelligible, something graspable by the mind, something accessed through our mental life and communicated through our language. And it's for precisely this reason that the intelligible realm of forms is so crucially important for Plato. Plato's claim is radical. The intelligible and literally invisible realm of forms is the truest, most authentic dimension of reality. The forms, Plato says, are the really real reality. For Christian believers, this is not necessarily a very difficult idea. We know that no one literally sees God. We also affirm that God is the source and creator of everything else that exists. God is the fundamental reality before everything else in the universe. But beyond that theological consideration, the idea that forms and not concrete things are the most genuine aspects of reality does challenge our natural common sense approach to the world. Ordinarily, I take for granted that what is real is what I can see or taste or touch. This computer screen, this apple, this pencil. And I also have a natural inclination that makes me want to verify reality through my senses. If I can put my hands on it, turn it around, examine it, weigh it, measure it, then I'm satisfied that it's real. Sounds sort of like doubting Thomas. We all have a tendency to be like Thomas, right? This way of interacting with and interpreting the world is built into our very human nature. It's certainly one of the reasons why there's been so much scientific progress over the centuries. This is why Plato's claim that the forms are the really real reality is sometimes referred to as the Platonic inversion. He takes our natural reliance on our senses and the physical world and turns that on its head. What we know through our senses is less real, and what we know with our intellect is most real, in spite of the fact that it's literally impossible for us to examine and verify any of that realm through the use of our bodily senses.